Hey everybody and welcome to my quick One Piece review for the first chapter of the final saga. Oda came back from this break casually delivering one of the most hyped chapters in the entire manga. These world building chapters were always special, but this time it's a whole different level. The Shanks hype is off the charts. All of these iconic characters, all of these chess pieces held back for so long are gonna make their move towards the finale. Surprisingly, I wasn't spoiled about this chapter. I guess I just adapted to it, and I'm so glad I went in with no hints because whoa. Now let's get into it. Normally when Oda puts too many characters with so much going on, the art suffers a bit, but it's not the case for this chapter. This chapter is literally perfect from its pacing to its art, and I hope Oda remains this strong or even better for the final chapters. The color spread features the new emperors. I kinda wished we'd get a full view of the four instead of close-up shots, which is something we've already seen, but the art is amazing and I love the facial expressions. The coloring is also some of Oda's best. The chapter starts with Greenbull. We get to know more about his personality. He has a short temper and gets straight to the point. He immediately attacks the scabbards. His personality lives up to his name, like a bull rushing towards its opponent. Visually, I liked his ability, but I hope that's far from what he can actually deliver. We get a great display of the bravery of the Wano protectors. Being the first to rush against Greenbull, Momonosuke continues to be an amazing character and he keeps earning more respect from it because this scene shows you that even if the leader is weak, what makes him a worthy one is his selflessness. Kinda reminds me of Moomin Rider seen in One Punch Man. But that's not all, because just when you think the Yamato hype stops, we get Yamato interrupting an admiral and landing a clean hit. At this point, Yamato being this strong shouldn't surprise anyone, but what I find interesting is that Yamato this time didn't talk about the audience stuff. It was Yamato, son of Kaido. That something happened to the character in these few days. The little time skip, because there has to be a resolution to Yamato with the identity. I could see Luffy impacting such a decision to finally accept Yamato as a crew member. Momonosuke asks for the rest to not interfere, but it's kinda obvious that someone will step in at some point. It's most likely Luffy, but I'm also a fan of Zoro or Sanji being the one to step in to fight an admiral. I think it would be perfect if each or both do it because Zoro is kinda already a mentor to Momo and he kinda needs a bit more spotlight, while Sanji saved his life and appreciates his courage. Now enters one of, if not the most iconic One Piece characters, with the most impact on the main character, Shanks. For 25 years, Shanks have had little screen time, but with each little moment it was impactful. Shanks may have limited screen time, but every single time he's appeared in the story or even mentioned, it is something to be remembered. This is by far the highlight of the chapter for me. It starts by confirming Luffy as a great pirate. Luffy right now is what Roger was at this point in the Oden flashback. Luffy right now is someone Shanks finally sees as worthy to return the Straw Hat and complete the promise. But it's not gonna be this simple because the mere fact of Shanks setting his goal on the One Piece basically confirms that Shanks is an antagonist to Luffy right now and a rival. The fact that Shanks only chose now to set his eyes on the One Piece says a lot. He was probably waiting for Luffy to reach this point all this time, just like how Kaido was waiting for Joy Boy to arrive and beat him. We get a flashback of Shanks stealing the devil fruit from Who's Who's ship, and from Who's Who's dialogue it's pretty much confirmed that Shanks had his eyes on the devil fruit because he knows it's special. I love the visual storytelling with the textless panels of Luffy and Shanks. Also, Yasop is preparing himself for the consequences, so I thought his reaction was funny. Now to my favorite panel of the chapter, Shanks sits to have a drink with Ben Beckman and finally declares his goal. You can already tell how special Oda's treatment was to Shanks in terms of art in this chapter. But what I really liked about this one is the white negative space giving an epic atmosphere, building up the panel surrounded with black, giving an ominous feel to it. And this is something I've missed from Oda because when you look at past arcs, he was far more experimental with his art. This type of stuff isn't new to One Piece. So yeah, again, I really appreciate appreciate the visuals. And the predictions were true after all. Not only the death we heard about in the reverie was Cobra's death, but just like we expected, Sabo was framed for such act, and now is called the Flame Emperor, which is the exact same name of the attack Ace used against Blackbeard at the end. So just like how Luffy is making a big name for himself, it was necessary to get Sabo to level up, not only because we've seen very little from him, but his bounty was also low. I will say that I'm not a fan of hyping him up over Dragon. It seemed like Oda just wanted to switch main players. I already had low expectations for Dragon, but after this they're even lower. They're sinking so deep actually. The chapter ends with Akainu. With all this madness, there are still significant characters that we have yet to see more of, like the Warlords or Blackbeard, so I think we'll get that next chapter. 10 out of 10 chapter. One Piece is on its way to have the greatest final stretch of content ever created, and I'm here for it. Thanks for watching, like and sub, see you soon.